Hello viewers, I am Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal. Stand before you with a topic: effects of Dalit movements. Effects of Dalit movements in India. It is found in +3 5th semester DSE-2 paper, and the name of the paper is Development Process and Social Movements in Contemporary India. Today's topic is effects of Dalit movements. No doubt Dalits have made various movements in India. But what are its effects? So we'll discuss some effects in part 1 and rest of the effects in part 2 video. But before I discuss effects of Dalit movements in India, I want to inform my viewers that the name of my channel is @Dilip Kumar Pal 9375. Never forget. In this channel, you will find videos from +3 first semester to 6th semester political science honors, videos from +3 first semester to 5th semester ethics and values, videos from +3 first semester to 2nd semester political science general elective, and some videos of environmental studies of +3 first semester, and some political science videos of +2 first year and +2 second year. And all these videos are both in English and Odia. Any topic you want, just write my name Dilip Kumar Pal and the name of the topic in Google or YouTube. You will get bilingual videos in English and Odia. If any video you will find in Odia, be sure its English version is also in the channel. And if you will find any video in English, be sure that its Odia version is also in the channel. Let us start. Effects of Dalit movements in India, part 1. In English, there is a saying: in order to achieve heaven, one will have to die first. It means to achieve something, taking pain is a must. So, Dalits through their continuous movements have achieved a lot for themselves. Following are the effects or achievements of Dalit movements. Effects of Dalit movements. There is a saying in English: in order to get heaven, a person will have to die first. It means in order to achieve something, a person will have to make a lot of struggle. Without struggle, a person cannot achieve anything. In a similar way, Dalits have made a lot of movements, and after making a lot of movements, they have achieved a lot. These movements have some effects. These movements have many effects. So what are these effects? Effects of Dalit movements. Number 1, effects on Indian Constitution. The Constitution, the first effect is effect on Indian Constitution. Dalit movements have effects on Indian Constitution. So many provisions have been added in the Indian Constitution for Dalits. It is out of their movements. So what provisions have been included in the Indian Constitution? First, impact on Constitution of India. The Constitution of India was adopted on 26th November 1949 to solve problem of Dalits and give them different type of benefits. Following provisions have been added, included in the Indian Constitution. First effect of Dalit movement is on the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution was adopted on 26th November 1949. And after being influenced by Dalit movements, constitutional makers have included many provisions in the Indian Constitution for Dalits. First one is inclusion for the interest of Dalits in fundamental right. So Indian constitutions, Dalit movement has impact on Indian constitution. So after being influenced by the Dalit movements, many provisions have been included in the Indian constitution. First provision is in the fundamental rights. So what provisions have been included in the fundamental rights for Dalits? Number one, Article 15 says about prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 15 of the Indian Constitution says that there should not be prohibition. There should be says about prohibition of discrimination. Article 15 says prohibition of discrimination on the ground of caste, color, religion, language. Or Article 15 says that there should not be any discrimination in the country on the basis of caste, color, religion, language. Means Dalits should not be or cannot be prohibited, cannot be discriminated. Number two, 15 clause 4, added by the Constitution First Amendment Act 1951. In 15 clause 4 is added in the First Amendment Act 1951. It is also for Dalit. So what is found in Article 15 Section 4? Article 15 Section 4 provides for making special provisions by the state for the advancement of socially and educationally backward classes of citizens or for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Article 15 Section 4 says that state can make special provisions for socially and educationally backward classes or scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Article 15 clause 4, which is added by the Constitution First Amendment Act 1951, it was added in the First Amendment Act 1951, it is mentioned in Article 54, provides for making special provisions for the state for the advancement of socially and educationally backward classes of citizens or for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Article 15 clause 4, 15 section 4 says that state can make special provisions for the interest of socially and educationally backward classes or scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. This is also for the benefit of Dalits. Number 3, Article 15 clause 5, 15 section 5, added by the Constitution in 93rd Amendment Act 2005. It is added in the Constitution in the 93rd Amendment Act 2005. So what is found in Article 15 clause 5? 15 clause 5 provides for making any special provisions for advancement of any socially and educationally backward classes of citizens or for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe insofar as such special provisions related to their admission to educational institutions, whether aided or unaided by the state or other than minority educational institutions referred to in Article 30 section 1. So Article 15 clause 5 says that state has the power to make special provisions in case of reservation of seats in educational institutions, both aided and non-aided or private. But it is not applicable for minority educational institutions. So Article 15 clause 4 says state has the power to make special provisions for the advancement of socially and educationally backward people and or ST and SC. 15 clause 5 says that state can make special provision for the reservation of seats for socially and educationally backward people or scheduled caste and scheduled tribe for government institutions and private institutions. But it is not applicable for minority institutions which are being maintained by the minorities. Article 15 clause 4 is more broader than Article 15 clause 5, because Article 15 clause 4 is more broader, more wide than Article 15 clause 5, because Article 15 clause 4 speaks about advancement of backward classes of people, but Article 15 clause 5 only says about reservation of seats for backward classes in education institutions, both aided and non-aided or private. Article 15 clause 4 is more broader than Article 15 clause 5. Article 15 clause 4 says state can make special provisions for the advancement of people of socially and educationally backward people. It can take special provisions for the reservation of, it can take special provisions for the advancement of socially and educationally backward people or ST and SC. But 15 clause 5 is narrower because it says only reservation of seats for scheduled caste and school tribes or socially educationally backward people in education institution, maybe government or private. Then we have discussed that Dalit movements have many impacts on the Indian Constitution. First of all, it has impacts in article, it has impact in fundamental rights. So for Dalit, Article 15 clause 4, 15 clause 5 have been included. Again, in Article 16, 4A, it is mentioned. Article 16, Section 4A authorizes the government for reservation in promotion in favor of ST and SC. It is added in 77th Amendment Act 1995. Article 16, Section 4A authorizes the government to make reservation in the promotions in the government post for socially and educationally backward people or ST and SC. It authorizes the government for reservation in promotions in favor of ST and SC. When it is added in 77th Amendment Act 1995. It says that there must be reservation in the promotions. There must be reservation for ST/SC in the promotions. It is added in 77th Amendment Act 1995. Again, Article 16(4)(b) authorizes the state to fill up backlog vacancies. It is added by 81 Constitutional Amendment 2000. Again, in 16 Section 4B, it is mentioned that state will fill up backlogs in the reservation for ST and SC. It authorizes the state to fill up backlog vacancies. It means if in any year the number of seats for ST/SC will not be filled up, in the next year it will be filled up. It is added in 81 Constitutional Amendment 2000. Then Article 17 provides for abolition of untouchability. Article 17 says abolition of untouchability or untouchability is abolished and its practice in any form is forbidden. No one can say that I will not touch any person. Then Article 19 clause 5 authorizes state to impose reasonable restrictions for subclause D, move freely throughout India, and subclause E, settle in any part of India of Article 19 to protect the interest of scheduled tribes. Article 19 clause 5 says that state can put restrictions for scheduled tribes. In Article 19 subclause A, which says free movement throughout the India and settle in any part of the territory of India. So Article 19 clause 5 says that state can put reasonable restrictions for scheduled tribes. In 19 clause E, which says people can 19 clause D, which says people can move throughout the territory of India freely, and 19 subclause E, people can settle in any part of territory of India. So Article 19 clause B says state can put reasonable restriction for scheduled tribes. In Article 19D and 19E. Article 19D says people can move freely throughout the territory of India. 19 subclause E says people can settle in any part of the territory of India. Then Article 29 clause 2 says that no citizen shall be deprived admission in any educational institutions only on ground of race, caste, religion, language, or any of them. Article 29 clause 2 says that no person will be denied admission in any educational institutions on the ground of caste, color, caste, religion, language, etc. Then these are all the effects of Dalit movements on Indian Constitution, fundamental rights. Then effects of Dalit movements on Indian Constitution's Part 4, Directive Principle State Policy. If we are clear about the effects of Dalit movements on Indian Constitution, it's Part 3, which is fundamental rights. What are the effects of Dalit movements in Part 3 of the Indian Constitution? Then we'll see which is fundamental rights. Then we'll discuss effects of Dalit movement in Part 4 of Indian Constitution, which is Directive Principle of State Policy. So, what is the impact of Dalit movements on Part 4 or Directive Principle of State Policy? First impact, Article 46 provides, Article 46 of the Directive Principle of State Policy provides that state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest of weaker sections of people, in particular skilled caste and skilled tribe, and shall protect them from social injustice and all form of exploitation. Article 46 of Part 4 of the Constitution, Directive Principle of State Policy says that state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest of weaker sections of people, in particular of ST and SC, shall protect them from social injustice and all form of exploitation. In Article 46, it is mentioned, state shall promote with special care, the state shall try with special care the interest of educationally and economically, the state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest of the weaker section of people, particularly of skilled caste and skilled tribe, and shall protect them from social injustice and all form of exploitation. So we are clear about the effects of Dalit movement on Indian Constitution. First of all, we have discussed effects of Dalit movement on Part 3, fundamental rights. We have discussed effects of Indian Constitution on Part 4, DPSP. Now we'll see effects of Dalit movement in Part 4. We are clear effects of Dalit movement in Part 3 of Indian Constitution. We are clear effects of Dalit movement in Part 4 of the Indian Constitution. Now we'll discuss effects of Dalit movement in Part 4, which relates with state. So what is the effect of Dalit movement in Part 4 of the Constitution? Article 164 Section A, Article 164 Section 1 says that in states like Odisha, Bihar, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, there must be a minister of tribal welfare who will also look towards welfare of scheduled castes and backward classes. So what is the effect of Dalit movement in Part 5 of the Indian Constitution, which relates to the state? In Part 4, in Part 5 of Indian Constitution, under Article 164 Section 1, it is mentioned that in states like Odisha, Bihar, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, where tribal as well as skilled caste, backward classes are more, people of tribal people, skilled caste people, backward people are more in these 4 states, Odisha, Bihar and Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Bihar, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. So, in these 4 states, there must be a minister in charge of tribal welfare who will look after tribal welfare. In addition with tribal welfare, he will have to look after the interest of scheduled castes and backward classes, people who are residing in the state. And so we have discussed in effects of social movement part 1. We have discussed some effects of Dalit movements. In next video, here I have mentioned to be continued. In the next video, I will discuss some more effects of Dalit movements on some more effects of Dalit movements. So I request my viewers to subscribe the channel so benefit will be yours, and aware of your friends about this channel so some students will be benefited. Remember, by giving help to anybody will not have loss. It is a symptom of a human being. I expect from my viewers this type of attitude to be maintained. Thank you. Have a good day.